The Doctors' Union warned that people were being taken to hospital with vomiting, vision problems, and liver damage after consuming edible cannabis products. They later clarified that patients appeared to have eaten edible CC9, not cannabis products. So, what's the difference, and does it matter? CC9 is a man-made compound designed to mimic the effects of cannabis on the human body. It's what we call a synthetic cannabinoid. Cannabinoids are a class of chemical compound found in cannabis plants and many animals that can produce psychotropic effects, though they don't necessarily do so. In other words, they're chemicals that can get people high. THC and CBD are among the most well-known and are commonly found in cannabis plants. They do this by acting on the body's endocannabinoid system, which is involved in regulating sleep, mood, digestion, pain, and stress, among other things. In fact, the word endocannabinoid roughly translates to the cannabinoids within us, from the Greek word meaning within. But cannabis is not the only thing that can act on the body's endocannabinoid system. Other things can include dark chocolate, herbs and spices, and even exercise. In fact, you know the runner's high that people talk about? Well, that's partly the exercise stimulating the body's endocannabinoid system. But back to cannabinoids and their imitators. While THC and CBD are naturally occurring cannabinoids, synthetic cannabinoids are made in a lab and they're designed to mimic the real thing. Think of them like artificial sweeteners that are designed to mimic sugar. They exist in a legal grey area and, unlike cannabis, can be bought on the high street without any control, as our journalist Emma Borge found out earlier today. So Emma, this morning you bought these two products here. We've got some cookie products here that contain CC9 that is featured in the news, and what appears to be a pre-rolled joint, right? That also features CC9 again, as featured in the news quite recently. What can you tell us about buying these products and the experience of doing so?
So this morning I had a slight change in my normal commute to work. I ended up stopping over there in a shop which was near where I live. I live in St. Julian's. And this, from the outside, the shop is not so subtly advertising cannabis products, let's say, where there's lots and lots of symbols in relation to cannabis, such as the leaf and stuff like that. Inside the shop, you can find tons and tons of cannabis adjacent products, right? So lots and lots of stuff with CC9, with synthetic cannabis products. And to somebody who doesn't know the weed laws in Malta, you'd think, wow, this is like a confectionery of drugs to a certain extent.
Because
right?
Those things, just to be clear, can only be bought through a licensed establishment.
Absolutely.
Where you have to register as a member.
Absolutely. This is completely different. And I asked them for particular products. I asked for HHC. They told me they had no HHC.
Okay, and just to be clear, HHC is another synthetic cannabinoid that, again, I think has been reported in the press before.
Absolutely. Yeah. And they had none. They told me there wasn't that. What they said there was instead was something slightly different. They told me we don't have HHC, but we have another substance available for you, which is even stronger, which is THCJD. And on it, there were a number of very colorful packets. At that point, I also asked them, okay, do you have any CC9? And they said, oh yeah, we've got tons of CC9.
Really? So this is something
super casual.
They were pretty stocked with, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. Like to T. There was not just one version of it. So in fact, I got two of some of the products that they had. Edibles available for CC9. So there were cookies in this case. I saw some brownies, so on and so forth.
And it's kind of interesting, right? Because the packaging of these, I mean, it's quite bright and kind of attractive. Yeah. It's clearly trying to get people's attention.
It's become really normalized in that area to a certain extent to see shops advertise cannabis products really openly. I thought what was really interesting was how relaxed the salesperson was when I went in, considering that the day before, most media was reporting that somebody, like multiple people, were being hospitalized for taking this product, for the substance, right? And I went in very casually, asked for it, and they told me it's totally fine. I asked a number of questions as well while I was there, and they told me, this is totally normal weed. This is what everyone takes in Malta.
Really? Now, the other problem with synthetic cannabinoids is that when authorities ban one, another springs up to take its place. But the government now says it wants to change the law to make it easier to add synthetics to the list of banned substances. Getting back to the whole artificial sweetener analogy for a second. While artificial sweeteners might be okay to put in your morning coffee, synthetic cannabinoids are not really a smart choice for getting high. Here's why. Firstly, they're largely unregulated, meaning authorities haven't taken a proper look at them yet, which means they could be much stronger than you expect. The purity and the strength of them can't be guaranteed. But secondly, and most importantly, they act on the human body in a different way and can easily overstimulate it. Now, for those of you thinking, that's fine, I'll just get higher and for longer, think again. Because by overstimulating the body's endocannabinoid system, synthetic cannabinoids can bring on a whole range of different effects and even lead to problems breathing and even cause seizures. Think of it a little like alcohol. While you might feel fine after just one drink, you're unlikely to feel the same way after 20, and you might need medical attention. The point with synthetic cannabinoids is that one drink might in fact have the potency of 20 and might have some heavy metals thrown in for good measure. The point is, you just don't know. One medical expert we spoke to said he had patients with long-term and serious health implications after trying synthetic cannabinoids. And over the past few years, several European countries have actually taken steps to ban synthetic cannabinoids. However, manufacturers are often one step ahead of regulators. Many of these products contain disclaimers saying things like, not for human consumption, or this is a souvenir, while clearly being sold as an edible product that can get you high. And ironically, while edible products containing real cannabis are illegal in Malta, these synthetic copies are sold out in the open. So, will the upcoming changes to the law take these products off our shelves? Or will the dangerous game of cat and mouse between regulators and manufacturers continue?